After 44 hours and 54 minutes on my in-game timer, I finally completed the Galar Pokedex. While I completely understand the frustration that many fans feel knowing that there are hundreds of Pokemons that don't appear in Sword and Shield, there may be an equal number that are happy to have a more manageable number of Pokemon needed to complete the Pokedex of these two games. It's been a few generations for me since the Pokemon games stopped being about trading between generations, using Pokemon Bank, and having perfect IVs, EVs, and competition-ready teams. Now, I'm just thrilled to have a self-contained experience with a defined end goal that is somewhat time-consuming, but also satisfying and achievable. This is the joy of a complete Pokedex. My trip through the Galar region began with Sobble, which was basically predetermined before the starters were even revealed, since I almost always go with the water-type option of the three choices. I took my time in each new town to talk to everyone, collect items scattered about, and fill up my stock of Pokeballs. On the way to each town, I would seek out a few new Pokemon to catch, but I wasn't being overly thorough yet since I wanted to rush to the point where I could purchase Ultra Balls, which would ultimately make catching them all easier. The story has always been a very minor part of my experience with the Pokemon games. It's just not something I'm looking for in this series. I can fulfill that desire with more sophisticated, interesting, and engaging narratives with different RPGs like Xenoblade Chronicles, The Witcher 3, or Dark Souls. Upon spending a little time in the new wild area, I decided against staying there too long. The appearance of Pokemon that were a higher level than you could catch further pushed me to complete the story so that I could return there and start filling my Pokedex in earnest. When I had unlocked the ability to catch any Pokemon in the wild area, and finished the post-game quest to capture Zamazenta, I was eager to work towards completing my personal Pokemon quest. The raids are interesting, the new battle tower is fun, and I have a bunch of friends who want to make competitive teams, but for me, it's all about getting my Pokedex to 400. As I got closer and closer to that number, it would take longer and longer for me to make progress, which is understandable. After I'd reached 300, rarely was I out in the world catching Pokemon that would just pop up in the overworld. Instead, I was searching for specific creatures like Drampa and Gumi, who would only show up during certain weather conditions, and even then only by randomly encountering them in the grass. I had to breed many of the baby versions and pre-evolutions for more advanced Pokemon I had already caught, and then to have certain ones like Snorlax holding a specific item while breeding to produce a Munchlax. Hold items being used during breeding wasn't even the most unique way of acquiring new creatures. Evolving my Farfetch'd into a Sirfetch'd required that I win a battle after scoring 3 critical hits. Another Pokemon required taking a certain amount of damage and then walking under a stone structure in the wild area. Creative methods for evolving Pokemon in Sword and Shield help continue the conversation about these games and keep people looking for hidden secrets and Easter eggs. If there's anyone out there who completed their Pokedex without using Cerebi.net, my hat goes off to you. At the end of the day, I really appreciate that getting my Pokedex to 400 wasn't as easy as just throwing Pokeballs till I was blue in the face. Making use of such a wide variety of mechanics made the pursuit and achievement of a full Pokedex all the more memorable for me. Now, I'm not trying to prescribe a particular way for people to play Pokemon games. The beauty of every entry in the series is that there's so many different ways to enjoy them. Ironically, they always seem to be missing something, and everyone wants more out of them. I think this is mostly because we have such high hopes for every Pokemon game, and our dreams are always grander than the games could ever be. I'm not blind to the idea that every subsequent entry features minor changes and improvements, sometimes at the expense of other beloved or requested elements. For me, the mainline Pokemon games have never been exactly what I want out of them, but don't we always demand more from the things we love? There's a potential to games like Pokemon Sword and Shield that continues to build as the franchise as a whole dynamaxes into one of the most recognizable entertainment properties in the world. We as fans want the mainline games to similarly grow, but it seems that this is destined to happen in fits and starts. With a never-ending onslaught of games to play and review, more and more I'm looking for ways to generate a feeling in me of having done enough, having seen enough, to put one game aside and pick up another. The joy of a complete Pokedex is the sense of accomplishment and freedom that propels me towards the next adventure. And every time a new Pokemon game releases, I'll catch every pocket monster it holds, enjoy the moment for a little while, savor it, and then let the dust settle. It won't be too long before I'm out there throwing Pokeballs, Trading with my friends and seeing the next Pokedex fill up. To catch them is my real test. And that's good enough for me.